Hi, welcome to Spirit Science. I'm Heather Garrett from Planet Botanics.
I'm Diane Lancier from soulrestoration.ca.
And once again, we have some very special guests right here. Lori Burden and
from
Tad...
Hearts Forward.
Sorry. And Tad Hardgrave. And we've just been having a potluck with some really inspirational community members, and we wanted to talk about that and connections and making real, purposeful relationships.
Yeah. So Tad is in town for a workshop.
Tomorrow.
Is that what you call it? Yeah. Called Marketing for Hippies, happening in Ottawa tomorrow. And do you want to talk a little bit about that and how this potluck fits into what you? Yeah.
Yeah. So
you'll have to speak up a little bit because we're so high tech that we.
We're getting high techer soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I run a business called marketingforhippies.com, and part of what I do is I travel around the world doing workshops for hippies, helping them with their marketing. And part of the challenge is if I come to a town, I do a workshop, and people come, and I'll meet them, and I'll connect with them, but then I don't always get to see them again. I don't always get to reconnect with them. And so when I do the potlucks, it's a chance for me to reconnect with people, but also a chance for me to meet new people in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, in Toronto, where I've been doing these workshops for years, most times I'm in Toronto, I'll host a party or a potluck. So I get to reconnect with existing clients, and also, you know, I'm doing one in Toronto in a couple of weeks, and so people who are at the attending that weekend workshop get to the night before the workshop starts. There's a party so they can meet each other.
Right.
But then there's also local hubs and people who I'd want to connect with, and they come to that party as well. So yeah, it's just a chance for me to make connections in a different kind of way.
Cool. And then what were your thoughts about?
Well, what I was thinking about when we were talking about doing this little broadcast was what
is very impromptu,
what
by
is
the way.
neat is that, for instance, I found out about Tad's workshop through Facebook, online media, and I'm connected with Planet Botanics of Heather, and so there's a lot of activity happening in social media, but as Tad was saying, what's really important, I think, is to connect with people personally as well. So we were all sitting around the table, enjoying some great food, and also just hearing people's stories, and realizing that there's all these little connections between people that are entirely unexpected. I came to the potluck not knowing anybody except Heather, really.
And now we're best friends.
And now we're best friends. So just... we can't forget when we're thinking about our businesses, even if we do deal with people one-on-one in our businesses, or if we have a store, we also have to do our networking one-on-one, face-to-face, and figure out what those synergies are.
Excuse me.
Somebody's leaving the potluck.
Keep it going. I'm going to say goodbye.
Okay. So, yeah, I totally agree. Well, why don't we just... oh, no, we can't pause it. Slow tap. I agree. I see a lot of people on... I'll be right back. Oh, she's closed the door. Okay. I see a lot of people who join groups, marketing groups, or, networking groups, who think that just being part of a group, especially online, should create, traffic for them somehow just by posting. And it's, sometimes people forget to put their links of their businesses, and it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Passive. And you really have to kind of, get out there and market yourself as well, especially when you're your business, right? You have to make those connections.
I see that social media is the first step, so that's your first connection with whoever, and then from there it's up to you to make the connections, as you say, and to develop a meaningful relationship. Like I was saying at the beginning of our potluck with Tad, that we actually connected through Facebook friends who I've never met. But they were in Toronto, and they're like, who should I connect with in Ottawa? And it was me. So that was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
And that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It can be a very, very useful tool.
Well, I mean, the thing I would say too is there's a whole difference between. I hear people talking about community a lot, but when they're talking about community, what they really mean is my email list. You know, so the words my tribe and my all this, and but a community has got to be everybody talking to everybody, not just me talking to you or you talking to me.
Right.
And so Yeah, I think there's a real part of the role of being a business is being a hub, being this central point where a lot of the spokes connect, which is this extra burden, really. There's a lot of extra work that comes with that, because as soon as you're a hub, everyone starts asking you for 5-minute favors, saying, hey, well, could you connect me with this, and hey, do you know this person? So suddenly you get all this extra work, and so it's not
necessarily an enviable situation.
Yeah.
I would add too that when you're in that position that's the driver. If that's a driver for you to be a hub and to have that, to be that person. So I was going to say, I'm just getting some information. So anytime that you have, anytime that you have a drive to do something or be something, there's going to be that lifetime in which that didn't turn out for you, and that has to be cleared. So at first I was going to say, if you have that drive to be the hub, you probably have something in a lifetime that you need to clear, and where that's not worked out for you. In some way, something has happened. And so you end up with that push-pull energy of, I really feel the desire to do this at a soul level, but then there's another part of you that's like, danger, danger, right? So you may not fully execute because there's a part that doesn't feel safe doing it. But then when I got that information, I also got that it's always true, is what I was getting. So whenever you have an inner drive to do or be something, it would be a good idea to go and clean up all of the spaces and places where that didn't work out for you, so that you're really clear and in alignment with being that.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because when you did say that, I was like, damn it. And then the second thing was, but no, I love this. Like, this makes me joyful. This makes me happy.
Yes.
This fills me up.
Absolutely.
But if there's another part that I need to work on, then, okay, I can do that too.
I didn't say it didn't bring you joy. I didn't say it doesn't bring you joy. I did say it's something that drives you, that you want to do. But I'm just getting the information that it's you just want to make sure that you've cleared every other lifetime where it doesn't work.
That's a very good point, and we'll work on that.
Because then you can excel even more at what it is that you feel driven to do. Yeah.
So I'm going to bow out for another second, and Tad's going to take the screen.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, the thing I was going to say is, I think that when you're talking about building community, it's just from a marketing perspective that marketing is primarily about word of mouth, and word of mouth spreads within communities. If there's no community, there is no word of mouth.
Right.
So if you're interested in your business growing through word of mouth, there's got to be a community in which you're hoping for it to spread. And so this function of playing a hub for a community and helping to strengthen the community, helping to bring people together so that people can talk to each other, necessarily benefits you if you're doing something good. If you're doing something that's worth talking about, if you're doing something that really helps people. It's like I'm aware whenever I host a party in Toronto, there'll be past clients and there'll be hubs, and every conversation at the party will start with, well, how do you know Tad? And they'll say, I went to the weekend workshop with him a few months ago or last year, and how was it? Oh, it was really good. And so selfishly, it works for me.
Yeah.
But it's also they're connecting with each other, and the community becomes stronger. So I just feel like we have a vested interest in strengthening whatever community we're a part of, if we're doing something worthwhile. And if we're not, it just destroys us faster, because then the bad word of mouth spreads in that way.
Don't you think that everybody can do it, right? Like, it's not...
No, I don't, because I think some people are such huge introverts that it's very hard for them to get out there, to be, to come to an event like this would just wipe them out for the next few days.
Yeah.
So I think,
But would that person have do you think that person would have the drive to be there, and they just can't bring themselves to do it? Because if you have the drive to create, I guess is what I'm saying, then anybody can do that. It doesn't...
I don't know. Well, I would just say a lot of introverts, I don't think they'd be drawn to, A, going to these networking or community potlucks, or B, that they would want to do it. There may be some other things they could do, or other ways, like maybe online, or ways they could be a hub, or other things they do. But yeah, in my experience, there are a lot of introverts who are terrified of this kind of thing, and, and so.
But they're not going to be drawn to do the creation of it. That's what I'm saying.
Sure,
But
right,
anybody
right.
who is drawn to creating it
Sure.
can, I guess, is my point.
Could be.
I guess I'm thinking about people who look at other things happening, right? Or there's this potluck and I
Right.
wasn't invited, or there's
Right.
this happening and I didn't go. And I guess my feeling is, but then you can go ahead and create
Right.
that. You can make that happen, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens organically, and it can start with just a few friends, and the next thing you know, you have a big thing going, and it's
Right.
And I guess that's what I'm.
Yeah,
that's
I'd be
what
with
I
you
meant.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's easy to resent it. It's easy to look at it and say, oh, well, I'm not on the in crowd, or look at those people doing that amazing thing, and I can never do anything like that.
Right.
And you get this whole story in your head, when really, yeah, there's that quote, it's not W.H. Auden, but it's, until one is committed, there's hesitancy, always a chance to draw back, and effectiveness, until one definitely commits to oneself, then basically meaning like when you're committed, the line is then providence moves too.
Right.
But the
When you're in alignment with it.
yeah, but the Latin root of commitment doesn't mean tenacious, doesn't mean hard grit, doesn't mean rigid. It means literally to begin. Is where it comes from in the Latin. so what that says is providence doesn't wait for us to become, hyper disciplined, refusing to give up. It just is waiting for us to start something, and then support comes.
Yeah.
We just have to take the first step, and then support shows up, and people notice. And
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not everything has to be in place first before you do
Yes.
it. Yeah.
thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or conversely, everything's already in place.
Yes, that's right.
You know.
Yeah, it just reveals itself.
Yeah.
And sometimes we get what we want.
Unfortunately.
And
so.
we don't want. Yeah, exactly. And then we realize we didn't really want it.
It's true.
Having fun without me, are you?
Yes. So, anybody else got anything to add?
I'm just really grateful for community. I think it's what drives everything else, and when we work together and we collaborate, it makes a huge difference, and it works so much better than being independent or working against each
In a
other
silo.
because you're
Yeah.
afraid or you're, there's competition. It doesn't matter. Competition is fabrication as far as
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
concerned. So.
Well, and if I can just throw this in, the friend of mine is in permaculture, and he looked up the etymology of the word community. And so there's 3 words it comes from. So there's com, so with, and then munis, and tats. And so I can't remember which word is which, but it basically means many small links or ties that bind. So I like the idea that it's a lot of connections.
Yeah.
It's not just one. It's not this super highway, which is what a lot of this. I'm marketing to my tribe and they're my community, but really I'm just talking to them and they're talking to me. They don't talk to each other. That it's a lot of connections, and they're small. They're not these huge things. They're not big things. They're just a little conversation here, a little conversation there. And so then, to me, the role of playing host in a community and creating a space like this, we don't know what will come out of this.
Yes. Yeah.
But every amazing project I've ever come across, when you ask where did it start, we met at a bar over coffee, or we're at a potluck, or we're at a party, and we start talking, and we say, what's missing is this, and years later something comes out of it. So it's I just feel like community, the health of a community relies on a lot of little small linkages, and for a community to be healthy. And since our businesses rely on the community being healthy, and since we personally rely on the community being healthy, then what we do has to be in service to that.
Yeah, for sure. And even tonight, for me, I wasn't expecting anything. I just thought it'd be nice coming together, and I learned that Susie can help me with a project I'm working on with women in shelters and, and a couple of other things that really got me excited. And I was like, oh my God, if you hadn't said that, how would I know? And you just said it because we were in conversation, not because we'd met in another
It was a setup,
instance.
yeah.
So it's all really very cool.
Yeah. Thank you for hosting.
It was my
Thank
pleasure.
you.
It was
Yeah,
my
and
pleasure.
Ted.
And my co-host.
Ted.
The co-host.
Tad. All right, so that's it for this week, I guess, or
Yes.
this night, or whatever it is. And I
Yeah.
hope you got something from this enlightened conversation.
So go out there and be who you be.
Your favorite thing.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Bye.